This is the Lyndsay Stafford Show.
All right, welcome back to the Lyndsay Stafford Show. Coming on almost 100 episodes. Really excited about today's episode. We feature the best here in Williamson County, and I have my friend here, Rick Forehand with Arc Builds, and he is going to share his story with us. He's got some really great things to share. He's got a great family here in Middle Tennessee and does a phenomenal job as a luxury home builder. Rick, thanks for being here with us.
Thanks for having me, Lindsay. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we're excited. Tell us a little bit about you and who you are.
Well, you introduced me pretty well. My name's Rick Forehand. We moved here 4 years ago from Southern California. I was born and raised in Southern California. I started in construction at an early age because I didn't really know what else to do. And I fell in love with it immediately. I learned how to build a house from the ground up on my first project. And, you know, the love for construction kind of took over there, and lived in California, did it for 20 years there, moved here 4 years ago, and, you know, saw a need and decided to really kind of, I guess, pick up my tools again and start doing it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And your projects are incredible.
Thank you.
So we've had the privilege of being at your own home, which you built and your wife designed.
Yep.
And she has an incredible eye. Her Instagram, I think, is Victoria Forehand Design, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And you've got some kids in the school system here,
Absolutely.
Paige, and you're coaching lacrosse.
Yes.
I mean, made it to the state championship. That was incredible. And this was your first year with the lacrosse team.
Yeah, this is my first year coaching at Page. I coached lacrosse for 20 years in Southern California and here as well.
And then brought it here. You know, one thing I notice about the lacrosse, we had the privilege, our daughter has served as the team manager for the last several years. And one of the things I noticed sitting through the awards ceremony, which we had the honor of attending, the culture on that team is incredible. I'm so grateful that Isabel was able to be a part of that. Just like the culture that the coaches create of support, recognition, family, camaraderie is incredible. And I know that you are a huge part of that.
Well, I don't know how much credit I really deserve. I, kind of helped implement Coach Joe's ideas and really just, kind of do what I do as far as it comes to coaching, and really kind of every area of my life. I just do what I say I'm going to do, and, try and be a good example to young men to help them, see what it's like to be an adult in a world that's a little crazy.
Yeah. Well, I love it. And your daughter's playing lacrosse too?
She is. She's been at Page for 3 years and has had a pretty successful lacrosse career there.
Yeah.
And that's actually kind of how we found Paige, was we needed to get her into a school where lacrosse was a little more competitive than the school that she was going to. And Paige was the closest one that had a good program. So we ended up there, and it's been a blessing.
Yeah, such a gift. And the girls won.
Yes.
I mean, that's amazing. Yeah, we've got them featured on the cover of the July edition for College Grove Neighbors and Neighbors of Franklin. I'm so excited.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it's really great. What a blessing. And this, for the boys and girls to both make it to that level, is just amazing. Okay, so we could talk about personal stuff all day, but tell us about Arc Builds. So what inspired you to start the company, and what problem were you hoping to solve for homeowners?
Inspiration to start the company is probably, it's because it's hard to change a leopard spots. When I moved to Tennessee, I wasn't sure that I wanted to do construction, just because I had a little bit of burnout, to be honest. And my company was pretty large in Southern California. And when we moved here, I just kind of surveyed what was going on as far as construction quality and price point and what was being done and what wasn't being done. And it seemed like to me it was a little bit behind as far as design and style, and some of the stuff that they were, delivering to clients. It was just, it wasn't what I was doing when I left, I don't even know if it's current to what I was doing 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So it seemed like there was a need for someone to, not that there aren't quality builders here, but someone like myself that's not unapproachable, hard to get to. I'm very accessible, and there's no like gatekeeper for me. It's just me.
Right.
And, to provide high quality construction for really anyone.
Yeah.
So that was something. And quite frankly, the remodel space specifically, there was a lot of people that I had talked to that didn't have someone that had the skills or the experience to do high level remodels, because in Middle Tennessee, there's a lot of, you have the ability to buy land and build a house if you
Hmm.
want. And where I came from in Southern California, they were out of land.
Yeah.
So you had to buy a house and redo it. Um, and, I had tremendous amount of experience doing that. So that was a good area for me to start here in. So
Yeah.
that's what we did.
And there's so much of that going on right now. So much remodeling going on in this area.
There is a tremendous amount, and it's kind of funny because it's one portion of my business. Now it's kind of evolved into really where I'd like to be, and what I'm doing is, I have clients that come to me with an idea, and they're like, "We want to build a house here," and I'm like, "Great." So we're drawing the house for them, and we're taking them from the idea to the keys, basically.
Yeah. It's
So
incredible. And I want to point out, because you're too humble, you won't say it, but when you talk about a need, I think about the character that you have. And when I talk about Paige Lacrosse, and that is reflected also in you and your business, that character of do what we say, do the right thing, be accessible, provide support and love and care to our clients. And I think that's a unique part of what comes with Arc Builds that's not out there for every other builder or contractor.
yeah, you're probably right. I hate to say that it's
I
unique that
know
I
I'm
answer
right.
my phone and I call people back, and I show up and I do the right thing. But, there's definitely, a level of uniqueness. It's been, uh, my secret sauce, for a lack of better words. When I started my business when I was 22 years old, I didn't know what I was doing. I just answered my phone and I showed up when I said I was going to. And, it's worked really well as a foundation for a business.
Yeah. Well, there in all this the world today, where my last guest Eric and I talked a lot about AI, and in a world today that is as fast paced, I call it like the Snapchat world, where it's like I want to, it's like here and gone and on to the next. And AI, where you lose that human connection. I think people are craving that, and they also in your industry, it's like I just need somebody to do what they say they're going to do and show up and communicate with me. And those are just a couple of the things that make you different. So that's amazing. So, my next question was what separates Arc Builds from other custom home builders and contractors, but I think we talked a little bit about that already, but I'd love to hear if you have anything else to add.
I mean, really, the ability to kind of do whatever you'd like to do. We have the tool set, where if somebody wants to, add 800 square feet to their house, I can help you figure out the best way to do that, whether it's through a primary bedroom addition, a kitchen addition, or whatever your needs are. I can help you accomplish that from the idea to the execution to completion. And
Yeah.
I don't, I'm and when I say that I help you, it is me. I'm going to talk to you about what you want to do. I'm going to draw your plans, and I'm going to be the one that builds the house. So there's not there's no blame game. If there is anything that happens, it's my fault. And it is construction, so we're not perfect, but we do get it right at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's I think really important, and that's maybe some part of what makes me
For
unique,
sure.
and
Yeah.
our ability to handle a pretty good amount of work and accomplish it in a timely manner. Um,
I love that. I have a question that we didn't prepare you for, so I'm just going to throw you for a loop here. What part, because your wife is extremely talented in the design aspect, and I know she did your home, designed it, and it's incredibly gorgeous. And we'll put the link to her website here too. Um, what part of that does that come into play at all when you're building?
um, yeah, I mean, yeah, my wife tells me what to do, just
Yeah.
like every other husband. I joke all the time. Working with my wife is really easy. It's kind of like color by number, because she tells me this is what it's supposed to do. It's been, having my wife be an interior designer has been a blessing. Um, and it's pushed me to become a better contractor, because she's had firsthand, an experience of seeing me work for people who are very, very talented, who absolutely 100% require the best possible outcome. And, holding me to that standard. And then, I will have my wife will come up with an idea and I'll be like, well, I don't know if we can do that. She's like, she just references some of the other people that have worked for her. She's like, well, if this person asked you to do it, what would you say? It's like, oh, okay, I guess I just have to figure out how to do it. And so that's been, a really uh, great way to make me a better contractor because she knows that I'm not going to say no to her. And so she can come up with some crazy stuff and we can absolutely make it happen.
I think she told me that story, or has shared that same sentiment, or you did, and I love it. I think through the tour of your home. But isn't that wonderful to be able to work with your spouse and have them make you better? And I'm sure she would say that you make her better as well.
I don't know if she'd actually say that, but you would have to ask her.
I think she would.
But
I think she
would. I guess, steel sharpens steel, right? So it's a pretty tough household when it comes to work in our house, but
yeah.
Otherwise it's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what are the biggest mistakes homeowners make when they're choosing a builder, and what advice do you have on how they can avoid them?
I mean, mistakes is probably, I mean, obviously the biggest mistake would be hiring the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Um, how do you avoid hiring the wrong guy? Check references and look at work. We don't have a ton of work in Middle Tennessee, but I have enough to where if someone said, "Hey, Rick, I want to go look at one of your projects," I don't have a project that I couldn't take you to that I've done. Um, it's one of those things like my, yeah, my business is very much front facing on the world of the internet. And, you know, you'd mentioned AI and fast paced world and everything's changing. And like I'm like, borderline still AOL, as far as my technological expertise is, I don't make reels. I seldom take pictures of my work. If I hire people to take pictures of my work because they're better at it than me. I'm like, my wife won't let me take pictures of our family. Why would I take pictures of my work to display it? So I seeing the work, meeting the people who I worked for, I think that's probably a better, reference than really anything else. Obviously, like word of mouth is always great. Being someone that's, established in the community, someone that, passes the bush test. And, what's the bush test? You're walking by and they don't jump in the bush to hide from you. Somebody you want to see on the street all the time. And, I interact with a lot of my clients. I'm not afraid to work for my friends because I know I'm going to deliver a good product.
Right.
I have some really picky friends, so I know it's tough sometimes, but um, I would rather have it be me making the mistake and correcting it than have it be someone else making the mistake and being like, well, sorry.
And you hear those stories all the time.
I mean, there's a lot of people that say that they do what I do for a living. And, my friend used to have a joke and he moved to Colorado and he said that the requirement for being a contractor in Colorado was a dog and a pickup truck. And I found that sentiment to be true here in Tennessee too. If you have a dog and a pickup truck, you could call yourself a contractor, which I've seen a lot of, unfortunately. And there's definitely some work I've come behind, which I just can't believe it was done. But, that's just how it is. So
I hear a lot of those horror stories. It's like, I think my guess is that people make one of the biggest mistakes they make is they make a decision based on price, that not based on experience, references, quality, and proven capabilities. And at the end of the day, sometimes, and tell me if I'm wrong, I know the industry a little bit, but I'm not a professional builder. Clearly, I can't even turn on a TV. I certainly can't build anything, but sometimes that the price is really a mask and it's really like, oh, but then we're going to add this in and we're going to add that in. So ultimately at the end of the day, if you're only making a decision based on price, you may not be happy with that even at the end of the day.
So, I mean, price is an interesting thing for what I do. Price is probably not even a fair thing to call it. It's more like a budget.
Yeah.
I had a really smart architect refer to, our industry as something that we only get one opportunity to build. And everybody wants a number to do it. And it's only going to be built one time ever. It's never going to be built again. And I don't build track homes. So
Yeah.
there's, but even track homes are going to be built one time in that exact same spot. And then they're going to be built somewhere else. And there's going to be a variable in each time. It's not like a car where it's assembled on an assembly line and you put a price on it. You build a house. I'm building your house. I'm only going to build your house in that spot at that address one time. Maybe if I work for you for the rest of your life, I'll build it 2 or 3 times in the same spot if you like to redo your house.
Demolition.
Right. But, that being said, that design, all of those parts that go into it are all only going to into it one time. So I think a more accurate word is budget.
Yeah. That's
And you have
true.
to have a budget that's realistic for the work you want. I think you can definitely get into a lot of trouble if you have 3 contractors tell you it's going to cost $100,000 to do your kitchen, and you have another contractor come and say he can do it for 50. And there's a good chance that he can't, or he can, but it's not going to be what your expectations were initially.
Right.
So price is a dangerous thing in construction because, if those things don't align, right? Like, so that's another thing too, but I have seen price gouging here also. I don't think that my product is subpar at all. And I would encourage, anyone that ever wanted to look at it to tell me that it is, then that's fine.
It's not. I've seen it.
I've done a lot, and
Yeah.
I think, it may not be, the best.
I don't know. I think you are under.
I guess I should say there's always somebody that's better at it than me.
Fair. You can always find a higher
I'm
end
sure I can.
something, but the work you do and the quality and the product is phenomenal.
It's very nice.
You walk through the hallways, there isn't a missed detail. The quality, you can feel there's a different feeling quality when I walk through a home that you've built versus other homes. So I'm just going to say that for you right here.
There probably is, yes. And it's
again, you're too humble.
I don't want to, I don't know. I'm not the type of, like, maybe if you caught me one-on-one, I probably would brag a little bit, but it's just not necessarily, I do a good job, and that is true. So if someone came and looked at it, I don't think they would think otherwise. I don't think there's someone's going to be able to pull it apart and be like, sure, you'll find something that I might have missed that could be wrong. If you're very nitpicky, then that's totally possible. And I kind of lost track of where I was going.
It's a great product. We're talking about people making mistakes, and budget was one of them.
Right, yeah.
Which kind of leads us into the next question. For someone that's considering a new custom home or a major renovation, which we're seeing a spike in renovations right now, I think with interest rates dropping, but not dropping back to, where they were at one point, people are renovating. And I think a lot of places in a lot of neighborhoods and communities around us in this Middle Tennessee area, the homes are getting, 10 plus years older.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, kitchen, bathroom, all the remodels are happening. What should they know before they get started?
A budget. That's like number one. I would definitely say a healthy understanding of the work that you want to accomplish and a realistic budget that matches that. There's avenues to do it. There's, most quality contractors offer pre-construction services for a small fee that is realistic as far as putting together. And pre-construction is typically more common when you have a house, that you want to build, or you have the idea of building a house, and you need to come up with a budget that you can stick to and start as a guideline for designing your house. But pre-construction meetings with a builder that you've done a little bit of vetting on is a great way to set your expectations accurately throughout the process, because you could have someone tell you that they did their remodel in 3 months and this contractor was the best and it only cost this much, or whatever they told you, and it may have been their experience, but it could be also inaccurate.
Mm-hmm.
So hearing it from the horse's mouth, so to speak, is the best way to do it. And, generally speaking, most builders, myself, I do. If I'm going to sit down with someone and have a pre-construction meeting and give them a budget and design their house, I'm going to design their house to their budget and help them stay in that budget unless they determine that they're comfortable exceeding it. So,
so look for that in that pre-construction meeting. Pay attention to the person that's talking to you, what they're saying, and are they articulating accurately? Sounds like that's a good way to judge.
Absolutely. Yeah. If I mean, I know quite a few of my contemporaries, and I don't think I've ever met one that's really successful. It's not listening to their client, because at the end of the day, I think I should get printed on a shirt, but you have to live with your house because you're
Right.
going to live there. Um, we don't work for people that aren't going to live in the houses that we're building. So
Yeah.
it's ultimately the decision is going to be yours. So we should be paying attention to what you want.
Right. Exactly. This question is not on the questionnaire, so I'm going to throw you for
I
another
probably
loop
do
here.
better with the ones that I don't
I
know.
think you're going to be good at this, though. On the flip side, what does an ideal client bring to the table when they're coming to work with you? Because you hear, oh my gosh, this person, we all have clients that are challenging. That's just part of doing business. But what are a couple things that you can say if you want to make this process more seamless for us? These are some helpful things that you could do.
I would say a realistic budget and a realistic timeline are probably two of the things. And, the more my ideal client would be someone that has a little bit of experience in construction, that's willing to hire an interior designer, that's willing to spend the time to get the design correct up front so that the execution is more effective, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to develop a property, it should be like there should be three people involved in the beginning. It
Okay.
should be an architect or a designer for a house, or draftsman, whoever it is that draws the house, a landscape architect, and an interior designer. Like those three pieces, you assemble them, and it's kind of like you have the Avengers, and you're going to tackle the project, and it's
that.
going to be very successful. That's, to be quite honest, that's why I built my house so efficiently, and why it turned out so well, because
Right.
everyone has a lane that they're exceptional in. There's very, very few people that are good at all three. I mean, the person that I think I probably regard as the most talented person I've ever worked for was only good at two. So it's one of those things where, I have a lot of people that I've worked with that are really talented, and I try and lean on them because my experience is the product always turns out better when you have experts in their lane.
Amen.
If you have people that are trying to, if you have a baker that's trying to, cook a steak, it's going to be a problem.
I was going to say grilled chicken, but same thing. Yeah.
I prefer steak.
So we've got Rick, Victoria, and then I would put a plug in for Troy Outman with Outman Landworks, because that's what he does, is landscape architecture. And I love that you're saying, this is what I'm good at. This is what I'm best at, but I need my partners to make it truly the best experience for you. Great answer for that. So walk us through the process for Arc Builds. What can a client expect from the start conversation to moving day? Obviously high level. We won't go through every detail, but can you walk us through, if I said, hey, I want you to do a remodel on my kitchen, which we're not far from doing, what does that look like?
Well, it would probably start with, obviously, I would come and take a look at what you have. If we're doing a remodel, if it's new construction, it would be, is the land identified? Do you have land, or do we need help finding what type of land you want? How much? What are your needs? Really, it's always starts with what are your needs,
Yeah.
whether it's a remodel to building a brand new house. Currently we're, well, I can talk about that later, but so essentially I would ask you, what are your needs?
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell every client, I want to know what your wants are too. Because I don't want to just accomplish, what you think you can accomplish. Because I may be able to work something in that you were unaware of. So
Yeah.
let's talk about how we want to change. What is this going to do to improve your life? Obviously, if you're building a new house, that's going to do a lot. If you're remodeling your kitchen, it's going to improve, certain things. And what are the pain points for you in your house currently, or the pain points in the house, your old house that you're going to be moving from? And how can we avoid those in your new home?
Yeah.
And really kind of take those ideas and incorporate them into our design, and however big or small that project is, taking like really every part of, if it's your dream home, or if it's just, the remodel of your not forever home.
Yeah.
We really want to take those ideas and, if there's ways that we can improve on it, because
Yeah.
you don't know, we'll definitely interject, but make them come to life in a way that maybe you didn't necessarily see, were aware of, and give you something that you'd be really happy with.
Yeah, I love it. So it starts with what you want and ends with the finished product of this is what we said we'd deliver, and here you are.
Absolutely. And really just trying to make it so it's a long lasting quality product that
Mhm.
you will be happy with as long as you own your home.
Yeah, I love that. How about timeline? Do you establish that in the beginning?
The timelines are pretty, I wouldn't say they're not as difficult in Tennessee as they were in California.
Oh, that's good.
California is wildly unpredictable. Uh, but
What made it so much more unpredictable?
the municipalities in California are very stringent. I mean, to give you I guess a quick overview, if building my house here, I had to
Yeah.
have 5 building inspections from Williamson County.
Yeah.
In Southern California, when I built my house, I had to have 44. So
That
it's
drastic.
yes, yeah. And I think that the inspections here are probably it makes more sense the way that they function here. I definitely think that there may be the onus is really on the homeowner to hire a good contractor. And I think it's very much more like good contractors will do well here because the bad ones aren't going to get referred anywhere.
Yeah.
Where in Southern California, there's one, there's so many people, and two, there's just there's so many people, and there's so many people that are bad at construction that like the people just will take it because they can't get anybody.
And there's so much red tape that even the
Yeah.
bad ones have to meet certain expectations.
Exactly.
So
there's a
slide
little
under the
bit of like
radar.
accountability that they're held to from
Yeah.
through from the cities, the municipalities, so that there are some standards that are and that kind of have to be met, where there's not enough rope to necessarily get them in trouble, but the product is awful.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's kind of a catch-22 in California. And then you get these things where if you have to stop 44 days of work
I mean,
for
that's
inspections,
crazy.
that's a month and a half.
If
of
it goes
work.
on time, if they actually show up, right?
Correct. And then if you pass all of your inspections initially, because, if you've ever had a building inspection, that some inspectors just choose not to pass you for whatever reason.
Mhm.
And they're human too. So they're probably doing their job, and maybe they had a bad day. Who knows?
But the timeline here is much more predictable because of
It's
that.
much more predictable. I mean, obviously the one factor here that we don't have in California is weather.
Yeah.
So there's definitely weather here, which can be a factor, but it's not the same type of factor that, the having the city get involved.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I definitely think establishing a timeline here is somewhat easy. We definitely try to do it up front, and make it a realistic timeline that, where if I tell you I'm going to be done in, I probably won't tell you 6 to 8 months unless it's an initial meeting. Once we have an actual plan, I will know it'll be 8
Yeah.
months or 6 months, because I think I'd rather tell you it'd be 8 months and have it be 7.5, because
Yeah.
you'll be way more excited than if I told you 6 months and it was 7.5.
Right.
So, I do a pretty good job of managing my clients' expectations. It's really kind of my
Erring
job.
on the longer end.
Well, it's not even that. Good things take time, and you can't rush certain trades no matter what anyone tells you. There's, one of the like technological advances that has developed in the last 20 years. It's probably been around longer than that, but for me, it's been the last 20 years. It's like, is level 5 drywall, which a lot of people don't know here.
I've never heard of it, so you're
So,
going to educate me
so
now.
a level 5 drywall finish is a technical term which refers to how smooth your drywall is.
Okay.
In Southern California, there's 2 types of level 5. There's a hand putty coat, which is applied with a trowel, and then there's a spray coat. Now, they do not look the same, but they meet the industry standard. Now, if you can do the spray coat much faster, and people charge the same price for the spray coat that they do the putty
I
coat,
can't, yeah.
but the putty coat is far, far better finish. It looks so much better. It feels so much better, and it is better. So that's one like example.
Sure,
And that's a product
perfect.
that like, I've even heard contractors tell me to not say level 5 drywall to my clients because they don't want to do it here. which is I'm like the first indicator that we're not going to do business together.
I don't think it's going to work
because
for
that's
us.
not like how I operate. It's just not what like I don't want to do the easy way. I want to do the right way, and I want to do it to where you get. And I mean, obviously, it's not a cheap or cost effective. Neither one of those words should be associated with this type of drywall finish that I'm referring to, but it is, the best. So, and that's kind of what we strive for. So that is one example of some portion of a trade that you can't really speed up if you want the quality. And I don't really offer a service that doesn't offer quality. So it's not like I'm not the person that you call for a flip remodel. That's not me. I mean, you can call me, but I'm just going to tell you I'm not your guy.
Yeah.
Probably because I'll be priced out because these are the things that I'm bringing with me, because this is what I do, because I make the process repeatable so that the product is the same. If I take you to someone's house I did 3 years ago, you'll look at it and be like, wow, that's really good work. I can't believe it's, held up this well over 3 years. They have 4 kids. It's amazing. It turned out great. And it still looks great. So I can bring the same vendors into your house and you'll get the same product and have that understanding that in 3 to 4 to 5, 6 years, it's going to hold up. It's going to look really great. It's not going to be something that you're going to be disappointed in.
Right. I love that. How do you balance craftsmanship, budget, and timeline while still delivering a high quality product?
So we start with probably those things in, we start with budget and then timeline, and then, craftsmanship is kind of dictated by those two things. Really. It's like if someone's like, hey, I got to have this house
this rate
in 6 months and this is my budget. And that's not always possible because we have like a level of standard that we can't go below, essentially, if that makes any sense.
They wouldn't
we can't, there's
qualify.
certain things that we can't do. Yeah. Like we just can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it.
You won't do it. You're like choosing, we will not do that.
Like I won't put tile on drywall. I won't do it. It's just not ever going to happen.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. Yes, it is. In the house that I bought here when I moved here, I watched them put tile on drywall.
Where would you do that?
Every builder that builds tract homes in Tennessee puts tile on top of their drywall. They do a waterproofing membrane on top of the drywall, and then they put tile on. I will not do it. It's just crazy to me. It's like I've never done it in the 24 years.
Like in a bathroom?
In every bathroom, in your shower.
Like that's what they do. That's just normal.
And now it does meet the building standard. It does. It's allowed. It's just not something that I would ever do because it is not a quality product. I went and looked at a house in a very expensive, prominent community here in Middle Tennessee in Franklin. And I was walking through the job and they were putting tile on drywall and they installed the tile incorrectly. So they were pulling it off of the waterproof membrane and then reinstalling it, which is damaging the waterproof membrane in the shower. So there's a really high probability that shower will not be waterproof when those people move in. So, but that's like the kind of stuff that I see. And I'm just like, it just hurts me at a level that like, because I know how much that house, they're going to sell that house to someone and it's expensive. This is $2 million plus.
Yeah.
And I'm like, for that price, that product should be illegal.
So this is taking me right back to what separates Arc Builds from other custom home builders. So I think this is important to hear the intentionality behind it, but the integrity also behind it. And you don't need to respond because I know you're not going to preach about yourself. So that's what I can do here. But I love that you combine those things. I am curious about this. What design trends and home features are you seeing homeowners request right now? So
I'm in the middle of designing 3 houses and I think I'm getting ready to start. Oh, well, yeah, I just finished another one. So, and a lot of those have kind of a blend of the open floor plan and some compartmentalization where it's a little bit more traditional floor plan where you have, formal entries, formal dining rooms, sitting rooms are big. We put one in our house.
Yeah, I love your sitting room.
It's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
And these things that I guess I had like as a child, growing up, I remember walking in my front door into an entry and there was a living room on one side and a family room on the other. Those kind of things are coming back to where you have part of the house is an open floor plan and the other part of the house is compartmentalized a little bit. So that's probably like the biggest trend as far as, like floor plan trends. Architecture wise, I think it's really kind of, there's a lot of like a push to like to modernize like an English cottage, if that makes sense.
Mm,
A lot of stone,
yeah.
especially here in Middle Tennessee, trying to get away from like really traditional brick. My wife and I have like this obsession with like a traditional modern, which our house is not, which means that we'll probably build a house in a couple of years. But we we're just settling down after the last one.
Yeah.
It takes me about 5 years before I want to do it again, and I'm already talking about a different design. So I think like a very like a English cottage modern would be like a good description as far as like what's I see as far as like the next like upper level,
Mm,
like high end, like trend setting kind of like
cool.
stuff. And not like ultra modern, just like cleaner lines, not
Yeah.
as like, not as traditional, not as chunky. And then maybe even, on the other side, like a traditional, like my wife and I have been talking about, like a traditional modern may
Mm,
start to see some of that stuff kind of come in where you take like a real, like trying to like a true Southern, like Georgian architecture and like add some really cool modern features to it.
mm.
Some blends like that. Um,
Any trends you see fading?
please bury the modern farmhouse.
I knew you were going to say that. I didn't want to
But
say it. I was like,
I'm sure I'm going to
just,
have someone ask me to build one, but it's like,
but that's what they want.
it is what they want. And I try and listen.
They
And,
do.
that's just like, if I were to build a spec house, it would not be a modern farmhouse. I
Yeah.
promise that. That was, I mean, I think the first modern farmhouse I built was in like 2000.
Yeah.
And I thought I was done with them in 2016. And then I moved here and I was like,
I was just going to
"Oh,
say
I bought
the
one."
trends,
Yeah.
the trends start in the West and go to the East. So we're 4 years behind California, I think. My mom she's always, she's very traditional. But she's always been able to say like, that's going to go out. I remember when
Mhm.
we were building our house 10 years ago and making selections, and was, 33, 32, never done this before. I didn't know what I was doing. And my mom was like, you don't want to choose these. Like they're going to go out. Right. And it was all the farmhouse stuff because that
Mhm.
was so big. So we didn't do those things, but I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Yeah, it's one of those. I've actually, I'm trying to think. I don't think I have done work on a few modern farmhouses, but those have been exteriors. I have did a couple of backyards for some clients of mine, but I haven't done any interior. Well, I guess I did a little bit of interior, and I definitely think we elevated it a little bit. We
Yeah.
made it. We added some more, traditional stuff to it. But
Yeah.
anyway,
That trend is out. I do think it's more like clean lines. And I love the fact that you're saying this like blended open concept and kind of more traditional interior is coming back. I love the thought of that. My friend Tina has a sitting room that she designed and it's so comfortable and it looks so beautiful. And so, I don't know, cozy versus like the big open. I love the openness, but like the sitting room you guys have is
yeah,
perfect.
people like to have options, and if you
Yeah.
can accomplish both, we the last two houses we had were more open concept and didn't have, any hallways. And I think the hallways in our house are like a big architecture point.
Oh, the
And
lights on the side.
yeah, the
going
lighting
down.
and the beams and the texture on the walls. It's all, there's moments that were missed for, close to a decade with the big push of open concept,
Yeah.
where now, you have some compartmentalization and you get the opportunity to add some design in and, really kind of make things a little more fun,
Yeah.
and not so sterile. And I think that, yeah, like that blend of, things kind of go all one way and then they kind of come back. So I
Yeah.
think that's kind of where we're coming back to.
I love it. When people hear the name Arc Builds, what do you think? What do you hope that they think about? What resonates with them?
First would be quality. And really just an overall like good experience. I think, whether or not they, quite frankly, whether or not they worked with us or not, I want them to have had a good experience. Because there have been some clients that more so in the 20 years I worked in California than in the 3+ years I've been doing it here, um, that would reach back out to me after the fact
Yeah.
and say, hey, I really, the next one's yours because I didn't have a great experience, but I did make an impression. So I guess we want to make a positive impression on every person that we come into contact with as far as construction goes.
Yeah.
So
when I think about Arc Builds, I think luxury, intentionality, elevated experience, kind of, I think this term gets overused, but I'm going to use it anyways, which is like a white glove experience, because I think that's kind of where you guys are. And it's great to have you here in Middle Tennessee making beautiful homes and remodeling beautiful homes. Rick, where can people find you? And by the way, all of the stuff that we talked about with the, the hallways and the just what Rick and his team does, you can find that on the social channels and the website. So stay tuned. Rick's going to share it, but it's going to be in the show notes too. So go check it out. And I encourage you, even before, if you're going to get started and you're just contemplating, just reach out and have a conversation. So easy to talk to and so knowledgeable. And I think worth a conversation if you're thinking about doing a project. So Rick, where can everybody find you?
arc-builds.com is our website.
And that's
arc-builds, BUILDS.com. And then there's a contact, link in there. I think if you look us up on Google, my phone number's on there. There's, it's ARC as opposed to ARK.
How'd you name it?
Well, the truth is I didn't want to name it after myself because I had a company called Forehand Construction in Southern California, and I just felt like I needed a different name, a different change. And my wife came up with the name, and then I gave meaning to the letters, and we decided to call it Advanced Remodel and Construction.
Love it. Awesome. Good teamwork. It's really great to see that, the camaraderie between the two of you with that as well. So on socials, Arc Builds.
This is Mr. AOL. I'd have to look at my phone to tell you what my Instagram
you.
is. I think it's arc-build design.
I've got it on here.
Or arc.build design. It's this is my weak point here.
You say AOL. I feel like I'm kind of in the same
I don't know.
boat.
You're pretty technologically savvy, Lyndsay, so far.
I've got a team that makes it feel like
I guess I need a team too.
It's arc.build design. So arc.build design. And yeah, you can see the work is absolutely stunning. So to see more of what we talked about, go check them out on the website, on Instagram. Again, Rick, thank you. Rick Forehand, thank you for being here. And check out Victoria as well, his very talented wife, Victoria Forehand Design. I know that's her Instagram because I might stalk all of her designs. She knows because I always comment and like on them, so it's okay. Go find Rick, follow him on social. Rick, thank you for being here. So happy to have you as a part of the best of Williamson County. Thanks for being on the show today, and thanks everybody for tuning in. If you enjoyed the episode, we want you to like, share, comment, rate, review, and subscribe, and then go follow our guest.